If you're planning to get NVIDIA's RTX 3070, well, first, good luck, and second, I really wish you good luck because this may be the toughest launch yet. There's some new information. We're going to do some more analysis of what's going on, so let's get right into it. Hey guys, Tiago here with Classical Technology. Thank you once again to all my recent subscribers. If you're new here, consider subscribing, smash that notification bell. We do a lot of PC hardware, a lot of market analysis of what's going on with new GPUs and CPUs. Remember to hit that thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and let's get right into the RTX 3070 launch. I really don't think I even have to summarize how tough the RTX 3080 and 3090 launches were. Now, the 3090 we can sort of set aside and leave that for another day because the 3080 for most people really where it was at $699. Fantastic performance for the dollar. That really is what gets people hyped up. It's definitely a very high-end GPU for what is still expensive, but a reasonable price at MSRP. No wonder it sold out. Demand was ridiculous. We know all this. Now, the RTX 3070, this is a very interesting GPU, so let's talk about a few reasons why this launch may be significantly tougher than anything that we've seen before. First, like I mentioned before, I read something that is potentially a little bit shocking. If you guys have ever seen those nature shows where like an animal will know that a storm is coming before anybody else does, something in their instinct just tells them that a big storm is coming, so they start foraging for food or hiding. I think this may be the case with the RTX 3070. Of course, we don't know how the actual launch is going to go, but from little thunderstorms here and there, we can see that there may possibly be a significant issue. And the first one is something I saw from the website Video Cards. Apparently, according to them, they got some stock information from a Danish retailer. Now, of course, this is in Europe. It's going to be a lot different than the US market and even different places in the world, but it's still an indication of roughly what could be going on. And remember, none of these numbers are confirmed. It's pure speculation, so just take it as sort of entertainment, and speculation is what can happen. But it seems like from the number of orders that they put in and the number of cards that they have on the way, certainly there's going to be a big gap once again, just like with the RTX 3080. And of course, I've seen these type of numbers before for the RTX 3080, and the amount ordered is certainly significantly higher than any inventory at all that they have on hand, which why it explains how quickly these GPUs are selling out. So we're seeing this already for the RTX 3070, and really this should be of no surprise, especially considering that the demand for the RTX 3080 was never met in any amount at all. We're still right in the middle of extremely high demand and very low quantities. In fact, when the RTX 3070 comes out at the end of the month, October 29th, I don't think the situation will have changed at all with the RTX 3080. It's still going to be a very hard to find GPU, and that means a lot of those buyers are going over to the 3070. It's only putting more and more pressure. Why wouldn't you want a $499 GPU with such great performance? At least it's something that can tide you over until you can upgrade later in the future. So a lot of people are going for this GPU. Stock, once again, does seem to be an issue, and the second indication that something may be afoot, I mean, NVIDIA changed the launch date of the RTX 3070 all the way to the end of the month. Now, this is certainly going to be very uncommon, and of course AMD could be a reason, but that's really not it. The reason here is I think they're just trying to have more stock. They're trying to give themselves more time to be able to meet demand, which from a business sense is great for them, but from a consumer happiness standpoint, it really leaves a lot of people frustrated because they simply cannot get their hands on these GPUs. And the fact that NVIDIA had to delay the launch of such a significant product, we can only assume that the 3070 should sell in higher numbers than all of the other GPUs just because it's priced at a more budget-friendly price. It certainly has terrific performance for the dollar. Everything the 3080 has, it has in spades as well. Of course, the 3080 has more and better VRAM and things of that nature, but for somebody whose max budget is $500, they're really not going to care about that. They just want a really great performing gaming GPU, and the 3070 hits that spot. That's why I think it's going to be so tough to get one. Now, NVIDIA pushing it back, that shows you that they take this extremely serious, and you could say, great, they had more time, more GPUs would be available, Or you could say for them to take such drastic measures, it really means that things are looking very bleak for the launch. Hopefully they at least figure out something a little bit more fair for the launch, so that way people aren't frustrated at GPUs going instantly out of stock. Hopefully a queue system like EVGA, we've talked about this before on the channel, even if it takes a long time, at least people know they have an 8-hour window to get a GPU rather than not even seeing add to cart. So hopefully those are one of the changes NVIDIA is making to the RTX 3070 launch. And remember, NVIDIA completely took out the Founders Edition from their website. That's going to be the third really big point. Aside from moving the launch of the 3070, which is already major, they took out all of the 3080 and 3090s from their website. They're not selling them at all. In fact, the only place that they're selling them is exclusively through Best Buy stores in the United States. And of course, those have been perpetually sold out as well. So it's almost like a moot point. They come in stock here and there, of course. You can still grab one, but it's very much luck of the draw. And them removing their major product release from their website, that shows you they really don't have enough stock to keep demand. Why would somebody remove their best-selling product and just stop it from their website? I mean, it's a great product, a great GPU, a great price at MSRP, but they just can't keep up with the amount of demand that's out there. And that's why for the 3070, the story, I think, is going to continue, and it's going to be even tougher just because the 3070, especially after the 38 launch that people couldn't get it, I think it's going to be in even more high demand. And independently of the 3080, the 3070 is a great GPU. I mean, the next point we can talk about here is the performance for what you're paying for. At its $499 MSRP price, to have performance that's as good or better, according to NVIDIA, than a 2080 Ti, which is last generation's big bruiser of a GPU, $1,200 GPU. So this wasn't too long ago, and this is definitely one of the other reasons why the 3070 launch is going to be probably frustratingly out of stock as well. So then really, if we're being realistic here, I would just expect the launch to go like the 3080 and possibly even a little bit worse, because I don't even think with any changes they can make to their website and even with their partners having better queue systems, I think it's still too close to the 3080 launch. It takes much longer probably to put a much better infrastructure in place, especially ramping up manufacturing. I still think that it's going to be a launch that's going to be sold out pretty much instantly, and it's going to be difficult to get these GPUs. I mean, NVIDIA even had the statement themselves that the stock issues are going to continue well into 2021. So that's certainly something to take a look at. And of course, the last point we can talk about here is how is this in relation to AMD? AMD is releasing Big Navi on October 28th. And if you've been paying attention, yes, that's exactly one day before the RTX 3070 officially launches now. So NVIDIA threw their GPU a day after the AMD launch. Of course, it's obvious what's going on here. We're going to see competition from them. And this is where we really don't know what's going to happen, because it's going to depend. First, let's talk about the stock of the AMD GPUs. Will they have stock or not compared to what stock levels are available from NVIDIA? I think second to this is going to be the performance and value for the dollar. As funny as that may seem, generally the performance and value for the dollar has always been number one. You would never buy a GPU just because of what's available or stock. Generally, you look at what you're paying for the performance. But the recent GPU shortage has gotten people so hyped up that people have been not only buying these GPUs at inflated prices, they've been buying models of the GPU that generally they wouldn't want to get from certain third-party brands just to get a 3080 or 3090. So there's been definitely some weird stuff going on. So I think if AMD, even if their GPU doesn't quite beat the 3080 or 3090, if they can at least have some decent stocks of these GPUs, I think they're going to give not only the consumers a much happier time. A lot of people are probably going to go to AMD, giving them more market share, but they're also definitely going to start the big competition with NVIDIA, because eventually NVIDIA will have more stock and they'll get back in the market. And as we know, NVIDIA certainly is number one in the GPU market. I don't think AMD is really going to steal that crown at all. The best that they can do is sort of take some of that market share away if they can produce not only stock, but of course they need a pretty competent GPU. So far from some leaked numbers, it seems like AMD's Big Navi RDNA 2, the RX 6000 series, seems like they're going to have some pretty great performance. performance going head to head with the 3080. We'll have to see how optimized those drivers are, how much AMD can actually deliver on the stock, how much they can deliver on the driver performance. That's all going to be very important against NVIDIA, because NVIDIA's really been chugging along with the driver updates, even though the stock issues have been short. Any of the issues like with the 3080s crashing before, they were able to fix fairly rapidly. So now the 3080 is going to be reaching a more reliable and stable phase, and hopefully if stock accompanies that, we're going to have a lot better competition out on the market. So to summarize, yes, the 3070 I think is going to be one of the most difficult GPUs to get, just because of its better price, its higher demand, it fits in more gamers' budget, it comes after the 3080 is not really available, especially now it's giving people a little bit more time to really see what's going on in the market. So I think it's going to be a very difficult GPU to get, and if these little indications from these retailers showing sort of potential stock are any inkling of what's to come, we know that stock is going to be just as tough as the 3080, and unfortunately this may continue well into 2021. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to smash that like button, leave a comment below. What do you think about this whole situation? And I'll see you guys on the next video.